What's up, guys? It's Paul from Boosted Films coming at you with a different style video today, trying something a little bit new. So first off, this is a repost video basically of the 2020 Spectator Eliminator races from the Shawano Fair. So you may have already watched this video without my voiceover, so if you don't want to watch it, whatever. Or if you want to watch this without me talking over the races, I included the link in the video description of this YouTube video, so you can watch that one without me talking over it. Okay, first off, everyone seems to ask, like, where the heck does this happen? Alright, this happens in Shawano, Wisconsin, a small town basically in northern Wisconsin, at a track called the Shawano Speedway. They currently just break it up into two different classes. They have a 4 and 6 cylinder class and also a V8 class. That's just what they call it. It's basically a slower class and a faster class. I don't make the rules. People complain about them a lot, just like any other motorsport. People complain about the rules. That's fine. If you want to see the rules yourself, they are available on the Shawano Speedway website, shawanospeedway.net. So you could check out the rules if you are actually interested in doing this yourself. And depending on when you're watching this, I'm recording it in January of 2021. This was filmed in September of 2020. The next event at the Shawano Speedway won't be until about May of 2021. Also, if you're a local and actually want to try it, you can see the upcoming dates on the Shawano Speedway website as well. Just look for the ones that say Spectator Eliminators next to them. And if you wanted to do this, you will basically just have to pay about $25 to enter, and you will need to follow the rules on the website. So if your car doesn't follow the rules, you wouldn't be able to compete. A big thing people need to really know is the tread wear requirement. If you're in the 4 and 6 cylinder class, your tread wear requirement would be 300 or higher. And then if you're in the V8 class, your tread wear requirement is 400 plus tread wear. Okay, so why did this all happen? Why am I doing this right now? Actually, because I started posting these on TikTok and they're like blowing up. And of course, a lot of people are talking about how they want to do it. Most people don't follow through and actually do stuff like this, but hey, what the heck? I wanted to make it easier for them to figure out how to do it, so that's what I'm going to try to describe here, and also I'll comment on some of the races as you watch them here. So the basics of this, as we watch my Evo pull out for the first run against this Oldsmobile 442, is of course you draw a number ahead of time, which just determines, who you're going to pull up against. The lower number is the one who gets to pick the lane. The first person out is basically the etiquette of either you get to pick the inside or the outside lane. Most people pick the inside lane. You drive up to the guy on the line here, and he kind of brings you up to get you from a dead even start. And then once you're both stopped, he's going to walk away, and as a driver, you're watching for a green light. A red light turns to green, and once it's green, you go, kind of like drag racing. And then, of course, you take off, and you corner through 1 and 2. Basically, these are considered corners 1 and 2 here that we're going through now. And then you run down the back stretch. Hopefully, you hit your braking point right coming into turn 3 here, so you don't hit the wall. Believe me, it happens. And then you power through back to the flag man. If you didn't notice, there was a flag man there, and he's going to be waving the checkered flag. And that is your finish line right there, the checkered flag. And this event going on right now that you're watching was at the Shawano Fair. So when they do the fair, basically at the end of the year, this is a double elimination event, which means you get to run at least twice. And once you lose twice, you're done. So that makes it a bit more fun, and what's also nice about it is you're actually racing in the daytime, whereas most of the other ones are at night after the main races have concluded. So, this is a stock car racetrack, dirt, clay racetrack, where typically they run IMCA modified, late model, other classes, and that's what most people are coming to watch. The Spectator Eliminators at the end of the night are basically just a bonus that they do every once in a while. So I'll probably touch more on that later, but again, this right now was the Shawano Fair. This was during the day. I think it started at like noon or something. So again, the advantage is you're racing when it's light out, so that's kind of nice. But a disadvantage is something I've noticed is when you race during the day, The track is not really prepped as well. Like anything else, they do track prep. They make it better or worse. You know, some days it's good, some days it's bad. As you can see from the dust in this video, this was a pretty dry, slick track. You are really sliding around out there. So if you're going to participate, be ready for that. Also, the track is a lot rougher than it looks. When you are watching this video, you think, oh, they're just driving around like you would on a street. No. If you watch some of my in-car stuff, you'll get a little better feel for it, but not even probably a true feel for how rough this track can be. Usually by the time I'm done doing a lap, the rearview mirror of my Evo is just like dangled all over the place because it hit so many kind of rough spots that just moved all around. So it is rough, just letting you guys know that now. Another thing to note, if you read the rules, trucks are not allowed because basically there have been enough instances where they have rolled over in the past. And there's the guy spinning out. So yeah, currently no trucks allowed. And of course with the rules, you know, it's pretty basic. You kind of still need to be a street car. It's kind of what they're trying to get it down to. The whole thing behind even the name of Spectator Racing is that you are supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to be a chance for someone that was just a spectator watching the races to take their regular car out on the track and get a chance to race around and have some fun. So as far as I know, that's basically where the term, you know, Spectator Eliminator came from. And it is a lot of fun. You know, most people don't take it too seriously, but some people get mad about certain things, and that's racing too, though. Some people just do that. So I'm trying to think if I missed anything else about what to expect. Oh yeah, it's also not the most organized, and I say that being as fair as I can with letting you know again that they don't. This isn't really the main event. This isn't. The spectator racing is just something they add on. So basically, when you get there, if you were going to come to this track, you'd need to just go to the pits. You'd have to buy a pit pass. And then you'd have to get there before the races start. So I think they start at like 6 p.m. You know, this is on a normal race night. You'd have to get there at, like I said, 6 p.m. You'd have to get a pit pass, and then you'd have to tell them, hey, I'm planning to do Spectator Eliminator racing. And then you'll basically, again, draw a number once you kind of figure out where you need to go and park. And then you wait until the end of the night, in which you will do the racing as I'm talking about here. You know, they kind of line you up ahead of time, and then you pull it on the track. Of course, you need a helmet and all that stuff as well. So that's the basics about what to expect if you're actually going to want to do this. Now I'll probably just comment a little bit more on these videos and people racing. This 442 is a pretty awesome car. The driver is nicknamed Landshark. He's done this for years. If you actually go back on some of my old videos, I have a lot of these posted from way back. My dad's usually the one who films these, and he's been filming these races for a long time. So he has a lot of them from way back in like 2005 and everything. So it's kind of cool to see the history of this and people doing it a lot. A nice little drift there from the Dodge. And this is just more information on this. The Oldsmobile versus the Honda here. The announcer said in the beginning that the Honda was turbocharged. It actually isn't. It's just a B18 motor, I believe. I'm not sure on the motor, but I know it's not turbocharged. It's just front-wheel drive. So it's actually funny to see him kind of power by and catch up to the muscle car in this one. Spoiler alert. It's also something, I guess, worth noting. If you do have a 4- and 6-cylinder car that's not all-wheel drive, you might be able to just run in both classes. This is only the V8 class. The 4- and 6-cylinder class did run before this, and we'll get to the end of that as well when this last race is basically my Evo racing the winner of the 4- and 6-cylinder class, which was Volkswagen. So again, pretty cool, surprising. I was actually surprised to see the Civic pass him on the backstretch there. But again, it was so dry. I mean, people want to talk all they want. I think that's why these videos get so many views, is people just like to complain about whatever advantage or disadvantage their side has. You know, all-wheel drive, of course, is always an advantage. And a bit more about the history of this. They tried doing all-wheel drive classes, but hardly anyone showed up. And I mean, what fun is that to watch when you're in a separate class and then, you know, you couldn't... If right now these were separate classes, most people honestly probably wouldn't think the Evo would win against whatever the winner of the V8 rear-wheel drive car is. I know that you watch it now and see the results and say, no, that's not true. But believe me, a lot of people, especially if you go back to the first time my Evo went out on the track, a lot of people, I think, wouldn't actually think the Evo would win and do as well as it did. And that was myself included, honestly. When I first did it, I did not think that it would do as well as it did, realistically. I thought traction would be a bit more of an issue, but obviously it hooks up pretty well. But again, I like to try to give myself some credit, even though a lot of people on the internet want to tear you down. But I mean, I did my research. I built this car to the best I could for what I thought would work here. I followed the rules with the tires. I did everything to build a car that I thought would work well, and obviously it did. And realistically, like, the evolution of motorsports, you just would hope to see that it inspires someone else, even if you love muscle cars, to have them get this awesome muscle car, which, the Camaro from the other videos was really awesome, really well set up, and he did great for a number of years. And more insight on that too. Unfortunately, that black Camaro you probably saw in previous years that did really well, that car's actually since been sold, so I don't think you'll see that car out on the dirt track anymore at the Shawano Speedway, unfortunately. But maybe he'll build something different. And I'll just speak a bit more to basically the comments I get on this all the time. You only won because it's all-wheel drive. That one comes up a lot. Well, all-wheel drive is a huge advantage, yes. I'm not arguing that. Okay, you want to say I brought a gun to a knife fight. Well, guess what? They allow guns in the rules. Anyone could have brought a gun, but these people like knives, and I get that. You like a rear-wheel drive muscle car. I like them too. I have a 79 Camaro. They're great. But it's allowed in the rules, so I bring it out. I mean, and it's not... All-wheel drive isn't the only reason. If you don't launch right, if you don't get off the line, and you're against a pretty good car like the Camaro I was talking about earlier, like, you're probably not going to win if you bog the launch. I mean, or you miss a shift. I mean, stuff like that can happen all the time in racing. So, does all-wheel drive have a huge advantage? Yes, of course it does. But you can race all-wheel drive cars. Anyone can. Why? I mean, I'm glad they're not completely banned, because it would suck not to see them out there. But I understand in the I'm watching this and I want to be entertained value that the races should be closer. You don't want to see complete domination all the time. It gets kind of boring. Which, again, spoiler alert, hopefully you've already seen this. That's why later on I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll stagger a little bit. I start a little bit further back in the Evo because we'll try to make it fun and entertaining, So that's just my rant about that. At the end of the day, I think, it's all in good fun. Oh, there's the first car hitting the wall. It's usually where people hit the wall coming into 3. You come in a bit too hot and you don't brake early enough. And, that's where, if you watch this video from 2019, the first year I drove my Evo out there, I was braking way too hard because I just was like, man, this is my Evo. I don't want this thing in the wall. Like, I cared less about winning than I did about not hitting the wall. And just, feeling things out. In 2019, it was my first time driving my Evo out there. And I just was like, all right, let's have some fun and keep it out of the wall. So that was my goal. Of course, the more you do it, the better you get at it and the more comfortable you get. And ideally, this year too, for 2021, if you're a loyal subscriber, I've been working on my silver Evo. And that's going to be a much funner car, I think, for me to have out there if I can get it done. There's a lot of work to be done for it. But that one I'll be way less, worried about anything breaking. All right, so I'm going to speak to this race. This is a father versus son. This is an interesting race here. The father is in the 442. The son's in the black car. I don't know these cars as well as I should. And, of course, it's slick out there. I mean, he gets a little squirrely, and then it ends up in the wall. But, what's cool here is the son sees it in his mirror and just stops and turns around and comes back. He's worried about his dad more than anything else. So that's cool to see, I mean, that's what it's... Again, what it's about. You're just trying to have fun and get out there. But it sucks to see a car like that. I think that's a 65 or 67. Again, I don't know these cars super well. All the muscle cars anyway. So it stinks that he hit the wall. But that's what can happen. Again, that's what's funny to me about all the keyboard warriors out there, basically. I mean, I get that people just want to have fun online and talk smack, but most people telling you or me or anyone else how to drive out there is just kind of hilarious if you've never done it. I know, some people probably have experience and are trying to genuinely help you out, but for the most part, I'd rather have people just come out and try it themselves, really, and then tell me how. I'd take a lot more stock in people that have done it before giving me advice than someone just online telling me how I should do it. But all in good fun. Honestly, it's probably something I take a bit too personally. I see people talking about stuff like that, and I'm like, ugh, don't tell me what, you have no idea. And it's just like, well, I need to loosen up on that too and just be like, yeah, they're just talking and enjoying the video and trying to help out sometimes, and sometimes they're just trying to be jerks probably, but... So funny thing about this is they're like, you have to cross the finish line. So Bo, I believe, who's driving, is like, oh, you go back out and cross the finish line. So he runs out and finishes the race to win and move on to the next round. Took a little shortcut, though, I think. So again, this is double elimination, so you have to lose twice before you're officially done. And this was like my worst run. I can't remember. I think I bogged the launch on this one. That's another thing that happens a lot faster than you think. When you pull up to the line, and then, you pull up, the guy gives you, the nudge up, and all of a sudden it's like 2 seconds later, the light's green, you're like, holy crap, I gotta go. So that's something when you're out there that you gotta learn as well. Like anything else, the more you do it, the better you can get at it. Came in a little hot there, got a little squirrely, actually, but that was a good run. Other people... Other than the launch, yeah. And I'm just kind of having fun there, actually, just trying to feel out the track and slide around a little bit. Other people have asked me about, what it does to the paint and stuff. I have one really big rock chip in the front of my hood. Obviously, if there's a car in front of you, you're more likely to get rock chips from them kicking stuff up on you. So, yeah, I was not planning to take my Evo out here after it was painted, but... it just kind of fell that way. Actually, the funny story behind that is the first time I took my Evo out there, it had a blue door. The paint was awful. It needed to be painted. So we took it out there, and, at the time, again, that black Camaro I keep referring to was one of the fastest cars out there. So we're like, all right, we want to see how it competes against that. Well, it just so happened to be that black Camaro broke the first time we brought my Evo out there. So we didn't even get a chance to race it. I say we because this is when my buddy Andy was driving the car. Much better driver than I am. I wanted him to give this a shot before I did it. So we raced that very first time when it was not painted, and unfortunately the Camaro broke, so we never got a chance to race it. And another unfortunate thing is at that specific time there was an all-wheel drive Cadillac that was there that raced the Camaro and did pretty good, but the Camaro did just good enough to beat him to move on to the next round, so we couldn't even see the Evo race in all-wheel drive Cadillac, which was unfortunate. So continuing on with that story, so after my Evo was painted, I was like, well, we still got to see how it does against this, Camaro. So we showed up, again, Andy and I showed up the next time they had the event. This was 2019? No, 2018. 2018. And then Andy just waxed everyone. It was fun. It was fun to see. It was cool to see the car did so good. And if you're watching along with me here, that Civic had a misshift. That's why he fell back on this one. Or something. No, his shifter came off or something, actually, if I remember right. He told me afterwards. Something crazy. But either way, basically just missed a gear, couldn't shift it. So that's the reason he lost, even though he had already beaten this car once before. Here he's catching up. You can see he's doing pretty good. So I feel like I keep jumping around, but back to my story. Yeah, so the first time the Evo was painted, it did really good, and Andy was having fun, so I was like, hey, why don't we show up again for the fair, because the two previous to that were just the single elimination nights in the dark, later at night, and then at the fair, that's always the end of the year, bring out the best of the best kind of thing. Like, usually that's when the most people show up for one reason or another. Most people show up during that fair. So I was like, all right, bring it out, to there. And unfortunately, that was the year the Camaro wasn't there. Yeah, the Camaro wasn't there that year either. The black Camaro I'm referring to wasn't there in 2018. But if you watch my full Shawano Fair video from 2019, the first year I raced it, that was the first year I raced the Black Evo. That was awesome. That was a very fun time. I was just such a bad driver that the races were pretty close. So this is that final race. And I gave the car, a head start a little bit. I probably should have did a little more, but again, it's all in good fun. So this is the final race of the V8 class. So I win the V8 class, and the next one is, if you will call it, a grudge match against the winner of the 4 and 6 cylinder class, and I give him a little bit more of a head start even. And another thing that people probably just don't talk about enough is, reliability. You need a car that's reliable out there, that's not going to break. And that can always happen in racing too. So that's what's interesting to me, is most people, think, oh, you could bring this really high horsepower car, which you don't need because it's on dirt anyway, so you don't need really high horsepower. But if it's going to break, you ain't going to win. That's just, at the end of the day, it needs to be reliable, and that's what's been so awesome so far about this Black Evo mine. It's been super reliable, which has been so fun. Shout out to ASM for all the work to basically help make it super reliable and get that awesome tune on there. So here we go, a couple car links that I give to the Volkswagen here. I keep saying it, but yeah, the more you do it, by the end of the night, I'm feeling more comfortable. I think I'm getting better launches, other than the one I did against the Civic. So I had a pretty good launch getting off the line. And even I know I don't launch the best, especially when I watch the videos of Andy driving. He's actually able to just wind out first gear a lot better than I am. My goal when I'm racing is basically like, all right, I'll starter box launch first, spin first, but as long as I hit second gear and boost, I'm fine. And obviously that philosophy has worked for me so far, but like anything else, more practice would be good. One final note, shout out to, being a street car, super street car. I drove this car 30 miles to the track, drove it 30 miles home, and not only that, but I had my daughter's car seat in the back. So, it's a street car. Some other cars are trailered there, which doesn't bother me, but some other people don't like that they're trailered, whatever. So that's it for this voiceover video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, this is Paul from Boosted Film saying thanks so much for watching.